Hi, thanks for joining us for today's video, which is sponsored by a very cool app called Wonder. It uses artificial intelligence to make images from words, but we'll talk more about Wonder in a few minutes. But first, we want to talk about a video from our other channel, Paranormally Listed. We recently released a video about Hollywood curses. It includes a curse about Playboy. Here's a short clip. In fact, it's far more deadly, because Playboy's Playmate models seem to die unexpectedly and young at an alarming rate. The most recent victim of the curse may be model Ashley Mattingly. She took her own life in 2020 at the age of 33. There have been a handful of Playmate suicides in the magazine's 69-year history. The 1958 Playmate, Cheryl Kubert, died by suicide in 1989 at age 51. As did 1964 cover girl Ashlyn Martin in 1991 when she was only 45. In 1974, 30-year-old Paige Young killed herself with a gun. As did 1981 model Debbie Boostrom in 2008 at age 53. Disease has also taken its toll, with at least 13 models succumbing to everything from cancer to colon blockages to asthma attacks. Car accidents also call Playboy alumni too, it seems. The most famous example is that of Jane Mansfield, who appeared in Playboy in 1955 and was killed in a car wreck 12 years later at only 34. Her 3-year-old daughter, Mariska Hargitay, would go on to TV stardom in Law & Order SVU. If you want to watch the rest of the video, we'll have a link at the end of this video. Before we get any further into today's video, we're going to bring you a word from our sponsor, Wonder. Every so often, I find an app that makes me feel like I'm living in a science fiction movie, and recently, I found one of those apps. It's today's sponsor, Wonder. What Wonder does is create images from words. The images look so amazing, you won't believe that they were generated by artificial intelligence and not a person. Wonder works exactly as it sounds. You pick prompts and then pick the style, then click on Create. Then you watch as Wonder creates your digital artwork. To get a free trial of Wonder's premium version, just click on the link below this video. I'll do an example to show you exactly what I mean. We'll start with an adjective. In this case, I'll go with blue. Then you pick a subject. I'm going to pick alien. Then you pick a situation. Let's go with skydiving. Then finally, you pick a style, and I'm going to go with novelistic. And here's my artwork. Amazing, isn't it? I made an image related to today's topic that's on the screen now. Can you guess what adjective, subject, and situation I used? Let me know your guesses in the comments section. As I mentioned, you should check out their premium version, which includes over 20 styles. It's fast, includes unlimited art, and has no ads. So click on the link below to download Wonder and get a free trial of the premium version to put your creativity to the test. Number 3. Ricardo Portillo. In 2013, Ricardo Portillo was 46 years old and lived in Salt Lake City, Utah. He moved to the United States from Mexico when he was 30. Portillo had 3 daughters and 3 grandchildren. He loved soccer and he refereed youth leagues. Unfortunately, refereeing can be a thankless job. Sometime around 2008, he was assaulted because of his refereeing and he suffered several broken ribs. His family asked him to stop refereeing, but he refused. On April 27, 2013, Portillo was a volunteer referee in a game for older teenagers in Taylorsville, a Salt Lake City suburb. At some point in the game, one of the goalies pushed an opposing player who was trying to score. Portillo gave the goalie a yellow card. In soccer, 1 yellow card is a warning. But if a player receives 2 yellow cards, they are ejected from the game and their team has to play the rest of the game shorthanded. The goalie took exception to getting his first yellow card. He started to argue with Portillo and then he punched him in the face. At first, Portillo seemed okay, but then he felt dizzy. He sat down and started vomiting blood. so an ambulance was called and Portillo was taken to the hospital. Once there, he slipped into a coma because of brain swelling. He remained in critical condition for 7 days and then died. When he was in a coma, the 17-year-old boy who punched him turned himself in. He was charged with homicide by assault. The prosecutor wanted to charge the young man as an adult because of the seriousness of the crime and because he was 3 months shy of his 18th birthday. But a plea deal was made and the 17-year-old boy was allowed to plead guilty as a juvenile. As a result, his name was not made public. He was sentenced to the maximum, which was to stay in a juvenile detention center until he was 21. The judge also required him to keep a photo of Ricardo Portillo in his cell as a reminder of what he had done and the damage he had caused. Number 2. Michael Costin. On July 5, 2000, Thomas Junta brought his 12-year-old son to a pickup hockey game at the Burbank Ice Arena in Reading, Pennsylvania. 42-year-old Junta worked as a truck driver. That evening, 42-year-old single father of 3, Michael Costin, was supervising the pickup game. Costin worked as a part-time carpenter. His 3 sons were playing on the team that was playing against Junta's son's team. During the game, Junta saw his son get elbowed in the face. He told Costin that the game was getting too rough. Costin replied, "That's hockey." At the end of the pickup game, outside the rink, Costin and Junta argued and then they started to fight physically. The fight happened in front of a dozen children, including Junta's son and Costin's 3 sons. Junta was a much larger man. He weighed 270 pounds, while Costin only weighed 160 pounds. At some point, Costin fell to the ground and Junta got on top of him. He continued to punch him in the face. Some witnesses say that Junta punched him 10 to 20 times. Junta said that he punched him 3 times as he laid on the ground. Nevertheless, Costin was knocked unconscious and didn't wake up. He was taken to the hospital. He remained in a coma for 2 days, and then he died. The medical examiner determined that 40-year-old Michael Costin suffered a ruptured artery in his neck, leading to a brain hemorrhage. He also noted that Costin suffered immediate brain damage after the attack. Thomas Junta was arrested and charged with manslaughter. Junta went to trial in January 2002. He claimed that he was acting in self-defense. His defense lawyer said that he was a gentle giant. The prosecution argued that it was no longer self-defense when he climbed on top of Costin and continued to punch him. The prosecution also said that gentle people don't beat people to death with their bare hands in front of a group of children. The prosecution also cited another incident in 1991 when Junta beat up his wife in front of 2 of their children and another child. She got a restraining order against him. The jury deliberated for more than a day. They found Thomas Junta guilty of the lesser charge of involuntary manslaughter. At the sentencing hearing, one of Michael Costin's sons testified. He said, "No matter how much of a sentence you give to Thomas Junta, my dad got more." Thomas Junta was then sentenced to 6 to 10 years in prison. He ended up serving 8 years in prison, and he was paroled in August 2010. Thomas Junta passed away in December 2020 at the age of 63 after losing his battle with cancer. Number 1. Jeremy Rourke. Pony League Baseball is one of the biggest youth baseball organizations in the United States. 15-year-old Jeremy Rourke was a well-known player in the Palmdale, California Pony League. He had played on the league's all-star team. He was also an umpire for younger leagues. Jeremy was well known for his short temper. He would throw his bat and helmet when things didn't go his way. One incident that happened when he was 14 was particularly disturbing. He was thrown 4 balls and he became angry. He threw the baseball bat about 50 feet. The umpire ejected him from the game. He gave the umpire double middle fingers as he walked off the field. He then punched the coach and picked up a baseball bat. He then advanced on the umpire armed with a bat, but was stopped by some other people. The man who coached Jeremy when he was 13 or 14 called him a bully. He said that Jeremy had threatened to beat up his son. The coach also said that many other players threw bats and helmets. He said to many of the players, winning was everything. On April 12, 2005, 15-year-old Jeremy watched his younger brother's team play at the ballpark. The pitcher on his brother's team was 13-year-old Gregory Harris, who was nicknamed LG, which stood for Little Gregory. He was called this because his father was also named Gregory, and because Gregory was small in stature. By all accounts, Gregory was a good kid who never caused problems. He always did his homework and never got into fights. Gregory's team was winning in that game, but then he blew the lead and they lost. After the game, Gregory went to the concession stand where his older sister was working. He got in line behind Jeremy Rourke, who was 2 years older, a foot taller, and weighed 100 pounds more than him. Jeremy called Gregory a racial epithet and said, "Don't cut in line." Gregory thought that the racial epithet was slang like a rapper would say, and not racially motivated. Gregory stared at the older boy. Then Jeremy shoved him twice. Gregory told Jeremy that he wasn't going to punk him. Jeremy asked him what he was going to do about it. Gregory told him to do it again and he'd find out. So Jeremy pushed him again. Gregory was carrying a bat bag and it fell off his shoulder. Gregory unzipped the bag, pulled out a baseball bat, and removed the bat sock. He then hit Jeremy in the knee and he dropped down. Then, in front of a group of horrified onlookers, Gregory struck Jeremy in the head with the bat. He fell face first to the ground, unconscious. Jeremy was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Tragically, 15-year-old Jeremy Rourke was pronounced dead not long after arriving. The next day, Jeremy's mother released a statement saying that Gregory was not a monster. He was a good boy who made a mistake. Gregory Harris went to trial for second-degree murder in July 2006. He said he feared Jeremy would beat him up and he was defending himself. The prosecution said that there were plenty of adults around and he could have just walked away from the situation instead of striking Jeremy twice with a bat. The defense had people testify who painted Jeremy as a bully. The trial lasted 3 days. The judge found Gregory Harris guilty of second-degree murder. He said that Jeremy did not deserve to die for teasing Gregory. Jeremy's family was upset that the defense made him look like a bully during the trial. They said it was like putting the victim on trial. Jeremy's parents did not want Gregory to spend the rest of his life in prison. They wanted him to get the maximum sentence of 12 years, meaning he would be in California's youth authority until he was 25. The judge granted them their wish and gave Gregory the maximum sentence. Gregory's lawyers appealed. The appeals court reviewed the case and found that Gregory had acted in the heat of passion. This made him guilty of voluntary manslaughter, not second-degree murder. He also received a new sentence of 4 to 11 years. It's unclear what happened to Gregory after he was resentenced. He could have been released after serving 4 years, which means he could have gone out of prison around his 18th birthday. If he had to serve the full 11 years, he would have been released before his 25th birthday. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to check out our sponsor, Wonder. You can get a free trial of the premium version by clicking on the link below. Download Wonder today and put your creativity to the test. Once again, thank you so much for watching.